American Transcontinental Railroad, did they have a standard gauge already when the two companies started?
Yes, actually, the Transcontinental Railway Act was passed by Congress during the Civil War. Before the Civil War, there were fights between congressional delegations from the North and the South as to which route would get federal subsidies for transcontinental railways. But after the Confederacy seceded, there was no longer any fight, so the route was chosen to go west from Omaha to Sacramento. And the first act left a choice to President Lincoln. Lincoln consulted with various engineers who, interestingly enough, there's irony here, they recommended 5'0" which was the gauge, of course, of the secessionist southern states. But the gauge was actually the first gauge that was used in California for a short line going out of Sacramento, which would have been, I actually don't remember if this was going to end up being part of the Transcontinental Railway or just a connection to it. But then Congress came back and said, whoa, okay, we're going to legislate that it's going to be 4'8½". That's what they did. And some historians said that choice by Congress really established a standard, but really it didn't, because it didn't mandate the use of the gauge elsewhere. And it was more a matter of just economic logic that led railway lines to convert to have a common gauge with their connecting lines. And that's the way it actually happens. But yeah, so Transcontinental Railway wasn't directly an instigating factor.
Is there a thought now that is it more or less universally agreed upon that a wider gauge would be better in all applications? Or is there a sense that in smaller mountainous regions, mountainous countries, narrow gauge might serve better, at least narrower gauge than 6 foot?
Well, as I understand it, and I haven't seen a modern engineering treatise on this subject. There are engineering treatises being written up to about 100 years ago. What it seems to be is that if you have a dense, compact cargo like ore, mining cargoes, and you don't care much about speed, then a narrow gauge is fine. But you'll have the load itself will have a low center of gravity. That plus low speeds means you don't really have too much trouble with distribution of forces between the two rails. Under those circumstances, a narrow gauge is fine, maybe even optimal. Well, presumably the optimal gauge for that sort of traffic would be narrower than the optimal gauge for high-speed passenger traffic or high-speed merchandise traffic, where you would naturally have a higher center of gravity of the load. The consensus appears to be that a broader gauge than the current standard would be better.
Yeah, it seems to me now when we run 120-car coal trains across the country, they could be on a wider gauge and probably be more efficient.
I would guess so. I don't. I did talk to some engineers about this once, and they sort of scratched their heads. Well, I was using the library of the Association of American Railroads in Washington, Industry Association. The library was downsizing at the time. I'm not sure it even exists anymore. But in the same building, there was an engineering section, and in the elevator lobby, I met with some of these guys and told them what I was looking at, and they said, that sounds interesting. But their view seemed to, their view was that a broader gauge
for a big country like ours,
yeah. And that appears to be generally the case. And I've looked at some of the journals, sometimes, in particular, I remember an article about a new mining railway that was being built in narrow gauge, and it seems to have been the thought that, well, okay, we don't have to worry about passenger traffic or general merchandise or whatever, and this is a special purpose railway. For this purpose, the narrow gauge is fine, even though for more general purposes it might not be. Yes.
The new maglev trains that are being developed in different countries, do they have a standard there, or are they having the same thing happening?
That's an interesting question.
Special built car.
I don't specifically know, except I don't think these are being planned for continent-wide systems. Now, of course, what happened with, railways as we know them now is that those were also not originally planned for continent-wide systems. Actually, they were mostly planned to cross areas where rivers and canals couldn't go. Water traffic was cheaper. Railways were more expensive as of the 1830s, especially. Now, by the time you get to the end of the 19th century, costs of railway shipment dropped dramatically, so that railways were definitely and even long before the end of the 19th century, the thought was that long distance rail systems made sense quite apart from any connection to waterways. Waterways were too slow and having too low capacity for the demands of railways for an industrial country like ours, or the transport demands for an industrialized country. So at that point, pardon me, I got off on a tangent here. Getting back to maglev. I don't know. Maybe it's a failure of vision on my part, but I don't see that they would ever connect into a large-scale system. But if they did, I guess there have been. There have been thoughts of a maglev system along the Northeast Corridor, or maybe California or something. Actually, the most recent thought is to use tubes, where you basically shoot vehicles through a tube at high speed, even aircraft systems.
They have the vacuum tube in the bank.
That's sort of actually.
Bird guy.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Actually, that idea goes back to the 1840s in Britain. As I read about it, about that thought being proposed back then, and it's. I have little sense of what the engineering challenges or issues, or the cost and business issues and cost considerations would be. I guess it's technically feasible, but we have to deal with how to handle the supersonic speeds and so forth. And I don't know. I don't know if that works. Yes.
Did the change from coal to diesel change the gauge? Has changed? Is it?
Well, the gauge has been the same.
It doesn't
Before and after.
affect the.
Well, okay. It basically removes one thing that railroad engineers seeing as a big constraint. There was a club in New York City. I think it's called the New York Railroad Club, which was for leading managers and engineers. And there was a paper presented there in the early 1920s, if I remember correctly, where an engineer was basically saying, hey, maybe we should maybe we should broaden the gauge now to something like 6 feet. And it was on the basis, the main consideration was that they'd reached the limits of the size and power of locomotives that could be used. Now, but again, this was just on the eve of dieselization. I'm not sure when the first diesel locomotive was put into service, but they were spreading from the 1930s onward, certainly. So it would have been immensely costly. I think one estimate was that it would have been adding 50% to the entire capital costs of North American railways to convert to a broader gauge. And some of the proposals were, well, okay, maybe we don't do this with all the railway lines, but only with develop a parallel system. costly too. It's nice to have an integrated system where for any train you're going on the track. Yeah, but so the one of the main arguments for a broader gauge went out of was no longer relevant with the rise of diesel and electric power, but it didn't lead to any change in what was actually being done. Anything else? We're going, what is it, 10 minutes over at this point. So
Maybe I get one quick question. I don't know that you can answer. I don't know that in principle this is an answer to the question. Maybe you have an intuition.
yeah.
In hindsight, what have we learned? Should this have been standardized by governments initially?
Yeah.
Or was it okay to let the blind hand work this out?
Yeah,
the way it
yeah,
did?
the invisible hand, right.
Yeah.
The the problem with government is the government doesn't necessarily have better foresight than industry experts themselves. In principle, government might lack some of the conflicts of interest that business people have in terms of doing what's profitable for their own company rather than what's profitable for the system as a whole. But on the other hand, government is often blind in ways that business people aren't, or the private sector engineers aren't. Should the government have mandated something different in terms of how computer technology or computer network technology or whatever? Well, to some extent we can't avoid that, but and of course there's debates recently. There've been debates recently about what's it called? There's a catchphrase here about network equality. Is that the term? Something like that. Network neutrality. Thank you. Network neutrality. Should the pricing of internet services depend on what traffic is being carried? Should Netflix, which now uses some very appreciable fraction of the total capacity of internet networks, should they pay a premium for providing their services, or should all the local service providers carry Netflix on the same basis as anything else? And which implicitly means that that homes that use Netflix will be getting a cross subsidy from homes that don't, because everybody would be paying for the system, but the Netflix users or the Netflix company itself will be getting a disproportionate part of the benefit of that. Okay, at some point, government does have to have to make choices on policy that benefit some at the expense of others, I suppose. And it's not always clear what the fairest or best way of doing that is. Yeah.
Just depends if the cost outweighs. You never know if the cost is going to outweigh
Yeah.
setting a standard.
Yeah, it's not only a matter of total cost, it's also who gains and who loses,
Yeah.
proportionally. Well, I thank you for your attention.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And,